Greetings. What I want to talk about today, very briefly, is on the life of Moses, this very important and key figure in the Old Testament. His life is not only significant or vital for our understanding of the story of the Hebrew people, but also just because how much of a monumental figure he becomes in much later Christian and Jewish tradition. But when we're turning to the life of Moses, where do we start? We start actually in the book of Exodus. And so let us start. So we're looking at the life of Moses. We're really talking about the book of Exodus. And in Exodus, we see in Exodus chapter 1, it basically continues some decades after the life of Joseph. And in Exodus 1, verses 8 through 14, you see it says that when a new king arose over Egypt who did not know Joseph, he said to his people, "Look, the Israelites are more numerous and more powerful than we. Come, let us deal shrewdly with them, or they will increase and in the event of war join our enemies and fight against us and escape from the land." Therefore, they set taskmasters over them to oppress them and with forced labor. They built cities, Pithom and Ramses for Pharaoh, but the more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied and spread, so that the Egyptians came to dread the Israelites. The Egyptians became ruthless in imposing tasks on the Israelites and made their lives bitter with hard service and mortar and brick and every kind of field labor. They were ruthless in all the tasks that they imposed on them. This is a setting for the book of Exodus. And when we're looking at this book specifically, the Hebrew people, they're in Egypt because there was a famine in the land. And this is again, we have to draw or at least think about how the book of Genesis ended. Um, because now here in Exodus, the setting is a bit different. There was a famine in the land in the end of the book of Genesis, and now the Hebrew people were now in Egypt. And Joseph at the time was both a savior for the Egyptians and the Hebrew people. But Joseph, by this time period, he had passed away, he had perished, and now a new Pharaoh had emerged. And so this new Pharaoh was very cruel towards the Joseph descendants. As you can see, the story of Exodus also includes a story of slavery, a story of oppression. And he was also very suspicious of the Hebrew people, he assumed that they did not want what was best for the Egyptians. But again, notice here that this pharaoh, it's an unnamed pharaoh. So it doesn't actually give you specifically which pharaoh, although scholarship assumes that this was probably Ramses, the pharaoh Ramses. But the life of Moses emerges really during a period of oppression. It is this period of enslavement in Egypt when it actually seemed as if God was silent. And when we're looking at the emergence of Moses, and especially the context of his life, we too also, when we're thinking about the silence of God, and especially when you're going through difficult times, many people today do experience a sense of abandonment by God that was very similar to what the Israelites experienced. But as with the life of Moses, God communicates his presence in various ways, and even specifically during moments of key absence. So, the book of Exodus, this is the context. They're going through a difficult time in Egypt. And this experience of enslavement and oppression is actually echoed in much later biblical traditions. We see this also in the book of Deuteronomy and also in the book of Psalms. So we see in Deuteronomy, you get the recognition about Moses and how and the people of the Hebrew people and how they went down into Egypt and they were there and it became very numerous and how the Egyptians treated them very harshly and inflicted them. But as they cried out to God, God rescued them. God heard their prayers. Likewise, in Psalms, again, you see the story of the Hebrew people going down into Egypt as a result of a famine. And Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham, and the Lord made his people very fruitful. This is in Psalms 105. So, this memory of migration to Egypt and also this experience of oppression in Egypt is very much entrenched within the Jewish memory. The Jewish people were very aware that their ancestors had journeyed into Egypt and had been treated harshly by the Egyptians. So when Moses emerges, he emerges during the time period in which God was or appeared to be silent, but God still listened to the prayers of his people. He became aware of their oppression. And so Moses emerges as a leader of God's people and as someone who was used by God to bring about their deliverance. But before Moses became this very important hero for the Hebrew people, we cannot forget that he was a fugitive. Because the story of Moses' life also includes the story of him trying to get involved in what he perceived to be the just and right thing to do when he saw the Hebrew people being oppressed. We see this in Exodus chapter 2. It says, when he saw an Egyptian beating the Hebrew, he actually killed an Egyptian and he hid him in the sand. And then when his crime was uncovered, especially when Pharaoh found out about what Moses had done, they sought to kill Moses. And so as a result, the story of Moses also includes the story of him fleeing from Egypt as a fugitive. But Moses is not just a criminal. He's actually what we consider like a bad hombre, so to speak, because he leaves Egypt. He kind of like escapes, not just as a refugee, but as a fugitive on a run, so to speak. So Moses, in many ways, views and understands his identity primarily as a fugitive or a migrant on the run. And what we also see is this Moses' journey from being a prince in Egypt to a fugitive in Midian. It challenges the idea that only powerful and influential people can be used by God. In fact, the life of Moses also demonstrates that God often works through those who seem unlikely or displaced. And we sometimes we find ourselves in these types of situations as well within our own personal lives as well. Because there are times in our life in which we find ourselves far from where we expected to be, only to later to realize that this was all part of God's plan. And so in the end of Exodus chapter 2, these passages end with God hearing the groans of Israel and God remembering the covenant that he had with his people. So it shows us too that God is also a God who is deeply concerned with those who are suffering. God is attentive to the cries of his people and also remains faithful to his promises. And this passage in Exodus 2 also reminds us that God sees and knows our struggles, offering us assurance that we're never forgotten and can trust in God's care and faithfulness. But Moses, again, he was, in many ways, his life is reflective of a migrant life because it was in Midian that he met his wife and became a shepherd. And returning to that passage, we see that it was while he was at the well, he helped the daughters of the priests of Midian draw water for their flock. Moses also chased away the shepherds who would not allow the women to draw water. And we could also notice that the women confused him for an Egyptian. They didn't know that he was a Hebrew. And so when the father found out that Moses had helped his daughter, it was the father who invited Moses to come and to dwell with them. And then this is where he eventually meets his wife and marries the his wife Sephora. And so Moses and his wife Sephora bear a son, and she calls his name Gershom, for he said, "I have been a sojourner in a foreign land." But where is Midian? As we can see in the map, we can see it's actually kind of really far from from Egypt. It's down over here in this region right here. very far from Egypt, and Egypt is way up here. So the journey of Moses would have been an extensive journey, and one not definitely not done within a day or so. But it's an extensive journey. Yet, as you could also see, it involves crossing a major regions of desert desert regions. When Moses first arrives, he was actually believed to be an Egyptian, but he always knew that he was a Hebrew. He knew that he was a foreigner residing temporarily with his father-in-law. And so when God appears to Moses in the burning bush, notice how God reveals himself. Not only does he call Moses, in other words, he knows Moses, but God also realizes and identifies that Moses is not an Egyptian, nor a Median. He's a Hebrew. And so the God who appears to Moses is also a God who reminds Moses of his real identity. Because Moses is a Hebrew who is living in a foreign land. And the God that appears to Moses in the burning bush is a God of Moses' ancestors. And so we see this passage here in Exodus chapter 3 when God says to Moses, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. So notice here that when God calls him, God identifies himself as the God of Moses' ancestors. This also brings to the surface, or at least helps Moses remember his own identity as a Hebrew person. Because we have to keep in mind, this would have been many decades after Moses' murder of the Egyptian. This was already a time period in which Moses was settled in the land of Midian and had a wife and a child. So this was some time after, perhaps decades, after Moses' initial flight from Egypt. And so this appearance of God in the desert, in the burning bush, it's a reminder to Moses. It's a reminder that the God that is emerging is actually the God of his ancestors. So when God appears to Moses, he gives him a task. So we may look at Moses and think that he was a great man or that he was wonderful and just knew the calling of God, but that may not have been how he viewed himself. Remember, Moses was a criminal who was living in exile. He was a fugitive on the run. But Moses' identity does not change over time from an Egyptian prince to a fugitive shepherd. And notice how he even replies to God and says, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? Moses knows what it meant to be out of place and unqualified because of his past mistakes. He was a migrant who was hiding as a foreigner in the land of Midian when he was called by God to return to Egypt. However, Moses' experiences as a refugee on the run taught him about the struggles of living in unfamiliar lands. And this would be an important skill that he would need to utilize as he led the Hebrew people through the desert and into unfamiliar land. Also, at the same time, we can see that God is a God who sees his people who are struggling and in need of deliverance. Yes, God may be silent, but God does not forget about our struggles. And even when God calls us, God promises to be present with us like the way God was with Moses in his new task to return to Egypt. So, very briefly, when we look at the life of Moses, we may feel that the life of Moses was a wonderful life, or he kind of knew exactly what God wanted him to do. Or we may view him as some great hero, but we also cannot forget that he was an imperfect man who felt very unworthy. The difference, however, was that he was attentive to the presence of God and he walked towards the burning bush. And it was really at the burning bush in which God revealed his sacred name, I am that I am. The challenge that we have is really the noticing God's presence in our life. And yes, we too are imperfect. We too struggle. We too feel qualified. But there's also a lot of burning bush experiences in which God tries to reveal himself in your life. So, question that we may have is really, where is God's burning presence in your life? Where are the places where God is trying to reveal himself and meet you? And there are some key takeaways that we could have from Moses' life. First of all, when we're looking at the life of Moses, know that your past does not define you, but it can be used to prepare you for a better future. We do go through seasons in life that is constantly changing, but God is still the same I am. And he does not change, nor has God forgotten about your struggle. The third thing we could notice, or at least take away from Moses' life, is to trust in God's plan. Trust even though you don't feel qualified. Trust even though you feel so unworthy. Just trust in the plan of God. And the next thing that we can learn from the life of Moses is really just to cultivate a sensitivity to meeting God in unexpected places. These are just some key takeaways that could kind of help us think about the life of Moses, or at least understand a little bit from his life and his identity, and demystify his identity as some great hero, and realize that he too was someone who had a troubled past, but also was used by God.